Health inspectors found a Lubbock kitchen this week with violations spanning from food preparation to cleaning the dishes.
KCBD News Channel 11's Case Wilbanks joins us with tonight's Food for Thought report. Case?
Karen and Abner, it's a short report tonight, and as always, we start with the violations.
Ohana Japanese Steakhouse at 5217 82nd had 28 violations. Here's a look at their priority violations. Raw shrimp was above the safe cold temperature of 41 degrees. Raw eggs were not being refrigerated. The inside of the egg was 72 degrees. Raw shrimp was stored above ready-to-eat sauce. There was a thick layer of grease on the magnetic knife holder, and the grease was coming off onto the knives. Tongs were touching the dirty side of a grill. A plastic container had a sticker and sticker residue on it. An employee handled raw fish at the sushi station with their bare hands. An employee washed their hands in a 3-compartment sink. Hand washing must be done in a sink designated for hand washing to prevent cross-contamination. A toxic item was stored above the sushi station. Cut lettuce did not have a date mark. The handle of a scoop was melted. The dishwasher was not sanitizing, and the inspector notes due to the number and the nature of the violations, management did not show proper food safety knowledge. The report shows most of the violations were corrected at the time of the inspection. And now to the good news. Here's a look at this week's top performers. Pizza Hut at 9830 Slide Road and Llano Cubano, a food truck.
You can find a complete list of the violations and other weekly reports in the Food for Thought section of KCBD.com. Karen and Abner.
Thank you, Case.